Good morning, students. The lesson that we are going to see today is principles of ecology. In this lesson we are going to study the interaction between the organism and the environment. The organism and what are the connection with the environment. And then about we are going to describe about the biotic. What do you mean by biotic? The living factors. Abiotic. What do you mean by abiotic? Abiotic means non-living factors. And the dynamics of the population that we are going to learn. And then describe how organisms they are going to adapt. They are going to adapt according to the environment. All these things, and we are going to learn the structure of the various fruits and the seeds related to the dispersal mechanism. That is the last thing we are going to see. First of all, we should know what is ecology. Ecology is a division of biology that deals with the study of the living environment and the relation with the living organism. That is called as ecology. You might have many questions. Why in some places some animals are not found and not, for example, if you take the desert, only camel can live in the desert, not the other animals. Why is that so? And what does it, why is that? And if you take islands, bear, polar bear, and then penguins, all these animals can live and they can adapt according to that cool climate. Why not other animals? So we have many doubts. That will answer for that questions. We get the answer from the study of the ecology. The first person to describe about the ecology is the Rita. Rita was the first person. First of all, you should know what is ecology. It is a Greek word, oikos and logos. Oikos means the oikos is nothing but the dwelling place or the house of the living organisms. Adaptation, what is the habitat? Dwelling. Oikos means the dwelling place or the place where the animal is found. Oikos means place where the animal. Dwelling means the place where the animals are found. And logos. Logos means study. So it is nothing but the living place of the animal, study of the living place. That is known as ecology. I told you it was first proposed by Rita and then by Ernest Haeckel. He only give the definition for the ecology. And the father of ecology is Alexander von Humboldt. Alexander van Humboldt. Von Humboldt. And then father of modern ecology to the latest ecology is Eugene P. Odum. Eugene P. Odum is the father of modern ecology, and Indian ecology is Misra. This picture is given in your textbook. Indian father of Indian ecology is Misra. Then the definition of ecology is given by different scientists. The Rita told that Rita is telling that the study of living organisms, both the plants and animals, in their natural habitat or the homes. Habitat is nothing but the place where it is found. It is repeated always in ecology. So he tells that the living organism and the relation with the environment and the relation with the habitat where it is found. That that definition is given by Rita. And the study is the reciprocal relationship between the living organism and the environment. Reciprocal relationship, that was given by Ernest Haeckel. Now we'll study about the ecological hierarchy. Hierarchy. What is the order the ecology is placed? What is the order the animals and the environment is placed? That is known as hierarchy, the order. The interaction of organism with their environment, establishment of grouping. How it is grouped? First is one individual organism. They'll form a group and they form population, and that population will form the community, and that community will form an ecosystem, and that ecosystem will have a definite landscape, a different landscape, and then the biosphere. That is the hierarchy, the order, how it is arranged, how it is grouped. That is known as ecological hierarchy. Establishment of grouping of organism. That is, grouping of organism is known as hierarchy of ecological hierarchy. The level of organism. The basic unit of ecological hierarchy is individual. First we will take one organism, how it is placed and where it is placed. For example, I told you desert animal, camel, one individual camel, then group of camel, they are found only in the desert. Like that it is grouped. Okay. So the different hierarchy of ecological system is listed. What are the branches of ecology? First is autocology. Autocology means it's an ecology of the individual species and is also called a species ecology. a special species, that is known as autocology. A synecology means population of the community with one or more species. A single species, if you are talking about, that is autocology. Synecology means more than one or more species, that is known as synecology. And many advances and development in the field of ecology, various new dimensions and branches are produced. Some of the advanced fields are molecular ecology, molecular level, that is ecotechnology, statistical ecology, and environmental toxicology. These are the other different branches of ecology. We have got autocology and synecology as the basic classes. Apart from that, we have got molecular ecology, ecotechnology, statistical ecology, environmental toxicology. Okay. Next we'll move to habitat and niche or Nike. What do you mean by habitat? I told you that is a dwelling place where the animal is found. That is known as habitat. That is a special physical place or the locality occupied by the organism or any species which has a particular combination of abiotic or environmental factors. But the environment of any community is called biotope. But the environment of the living organism is known as, any community is known as, but the environment surrounding the organism, that is called as biotope. So habitat means what? It is a physical place or the locality occupied by the organism. I told you that is a living place, where the animal is found, that is known as habitat. Okay, or any species which has the biotic or environmental factors. Abiotic means or non-living factors or the environmental factors. Non-living environmental factors or non-living, the temperature, the humidity, all these comes under abiotic factors. But the environment of any community, the environment, the surrounding place, that is known as biotope. Now what do you mean by niche? Niche refers to the organism plays in the biotic environment, and it's a functional role in the ecosystem. It is a biotic. It is a biotic environment. Niche is a biotic environment. Living, that is coined by Roswell Hill Johnson, but Grinnell was the first person to introduce that term. Grinnell was the first person to introduce the term, but it was coined by Roswell Hill Johnson. Now we have seen about the biotope. What is biotope? I told you the environment of the community. The environment of the community is biotope. And what is ecotope? The difference between habitat and niche, that is given in the tabular column. I'll explain you. For example, what is habitat? Means a physical space that is occupied by an organism, and the niche is a functional space occupied by the organism. This is a species, that is an ecosystem. The same ecosystem. This is a physical place and this is a functional space. Some habitat may be shared by many organisms. Here, niche is occupied only by the single species. Only a particular species can live in that place. Habitat is exhibited by organisms, but organism may change their niche with time and season. But niche will change, but habitat will not change. That is the place where they live. But niche, they will change according to the time and the season. Okay. Now we'll move to ecological equivalence. Before going into the deeper to the lesson, we should know about the short terms that we are. That's why I'm taking that in explaining the term by term that is given in the textbook. So you should know about the biotope, ecotope, and what is autocology, synecology, and who are the scientists who described about ecology. All these things we should learn. Next is ecological equivalence. What is the equivalent form of ecology? Taxonomically, different species occupying similar habitats, that is niche. What we have told is the functional space. The similar habitats, that is known as niche, is different. Geographical regions are called ecological equivalence. What do you mean by that? That means different species occupying similar niche. Niche means what I've told you, that is an organism may change the niche. Organism will have a specific place in the biotic environment, that is known as niche. So the different organisms or the different species occupy, not organism, different species that will occupy a similar habitats. The different species will have the similar habitat. For example, in one environment we have seen many organisms. In one environment we have seeing many organisms. That is called as the similar habitats having different species and in different geographical regions. For example, in India, in the aquatic animals, those are found. Those are different in the animals that are found in the other states or the other places, other countries. That is called as the different geographical regions. Okay. Example, certain species of epiphytic orchids of Western Ghats of India differ from the epiphytic orchids of South America, because the climatic conditions of South America is totally different from the climatic conditions of India. So the Western Ghats will have some epiphytic plants that is different compared to the epiphytic plants of the South America. And then the grasslands of Western Ghats of India differ from the grass species of steppe in North America. Yes, they are totally different. You might have seen in the pictures also. The grasslands of the steppe in the North America, they are totally different from the grasslands that are present in the India. So that's the difference. That is the difference. That are the ecological equivalence. Next is ecological factors. Ecological factors. So we have seen the climatic factors, and then edaphic factors, topographic factors, biotic factors. And many organisms coexist in an environment. They'll adjust in one environment. So the environment includes, they may be a physical environment, chemical and biological environment. These are the environment we are going to see. When the component surrounding in an organism affects the life of an organism, then it becomes a factor. If anything is affecting the life of the organism, that is a factor. For example, the climate, if the rain is a factor. Okay, and then temperature is a factor. So all these things are considered as a factor. So they are called as the environmental factors or ecological factors. These factors, they are classified and they are divided into two types. One is biotic and abiotic. Biotic or bio means living, abiotic non-living, which may be, however, they may be defined as the climatic factor and edaphic factors, topographic factors, biotic factors. All these things we will discuss one by one. Okay, first we will go to the climatic factors. Climate is one of the important natural factor controlling the plant life. The climatic factors include, what are the climatic factors? It might be the light, the temperature, the water, wind, etc. and also the fire. All these comes under the climatic factors. What are the climatic factor? The air, water, wind. Air, water, wind, light, temperature. All these comes under the climatic factors. First we will take the light. Light is very well known, that is needed for every organism, for the physiological process, for the photosynthesis you might have learned. Without light there will not be photosynthesis. The leaf cannot prepare their own food, because with the presence of the light only the plants, the leaf will prepare their own food. So for transpiration, light is necessary. For germination of seed, light is necessary. So light is an important factor. And then for flowering, but some flowers will bloom only when the sunlight falls on the flower. So the portion of the sunlight which can be resolved by the human eye, that is called as we can see, that is known as the visible light. The portion of the portion of the sunlight which can be resolved by the human eye, which can be seen, that is known as the visible light. The visible light is made the wavelength, and the wavelength is you might have learned about the ultraviolet rays, and then the we cannot see that WebGR. Yes, the violet to red color, and its range from 400 to 700 nanometer. So violet is 400 and red is 700. You might have learned in your earlier previous classes the rainbow colors. Violet, WebGR, violet, indigo, B for blue, G for green, Y for yellow, O for orange, and R for red. All these will have different ranges. 400 to 500 you might have a blue color, and for red 600 to 700. These depends on the light, intensity of the light. Okay, and the wavelength of the spectrum of the light. When the wavelength of the spectrum is less strongly absorbed by the plants, effect of the plants, they are for example, the plants are totally affected. See, light is an important factor. Light is necessary for photosynthesis, we have seen that, and then the opening and the closing of the stomata. When the light falls, the stomata will open. Only if the stomata opens, transpiration occurs, and then germination of the seed, flowering. All these things are all these things need the light. And then, based on the tolerance and the intensity of the light, it is also again classified. We have got two types: heliophytes and sciophytes. Light loving plants, the animals that love. What do you mean by love? Love means only with the help of the light they can grow. That they are known as light loving plants. They are known as angiosperms. Angiosperms and gymnosperms, we might have some naked seeded and closed seed plants. They are called as angiosperms and gymnosperms. The light loving plants are angiosperms that are known as heliophytes, and sciophytes are shade loving. These plants will grow only under the shade. They are known as shade loving. They are known as scio. S for shade, H for helio. Helio means it is attracted towards the light. So we have got two types in the light based on the light factors. So I'm going to stop this from the ecological factor. We have started from the climatic factor. Of the climatic factor, we have started with the light. So what are the uses of light that we have seen? The light is necessary for the temperature, for the photosynthesis, germination of the seed, and then for transpiration, and also for the flowering of the plants. And then based on the necessity or the intensity of the light, the plants are classified into heliophytes and sciophytes. Heliophytes means they are light loving plants, and sciophytes means the plants that grow under the shade. And we'll move to the next temperature in the next class. Okay, thank you, children.